Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 214, entitled Beware the 31st of March. Not the Ides of March. That's like way long ago. The 31st of March is now what we have to beware of, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But before we could do all that, introduction time. My name is Steve, but I'm also joined by Barry. Hey Barry, how's it going?
Hey, Steve, always a pleasure. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I saw you got the memo to wear a Zelda shirt tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Our other co-host, Greg, apparently did not get the memo. Sorry about that, Greg. But I don't know, must have got lost in the mail or something like that. But we're still glad you're here, Greg. How's it going?
It was great to be here, and I almost wore my Zelda shirt today, which is the same one that you actually have. So we could have been twins had I gone through with that original instinct. But I was like,
nice.
I'll just wear my GameCube shirt or Game Boy shirt instead.
Nice. I didn't realize both we have one Zelda shirt the same, and Barry and I have a Zelda shirt the same. So
that's true.
Wow.
Steve's just very in on the styles, and me and Barry just need a.
I just grab any Zelda shirt I can get, pretty much. Jakester's even noticing, where's Greg's Zelda shirt? He's got the Game Boy shirt. That's still pretty cool. And Zelda was on the Game Boy, so there you go. It's pretty much like he's got one.
Barry's favorite one, too, at that.
That is very true.
There you go. Jakester said he's wearing a Mario Beatles shirt. I love that Mario Beatles shirt. I wore mine a couple days ago. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's fantastic. I have to have it. But you're probably wondering, how do we know what Jakester's saying? That's because he's joining in the chat. And if you never joined our live chat during our live recording, make sure you do that. Just hop on YouTube. We are at youtube.com/NintendoFuse, and you can watch our live recording of the podcast. And we'd also love for you guys to join us in our on our social media. We pretty much are we're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at NintendoFuse. So make sure you do that, and you can also join our Discord. The link is on the screen, but also in the description down below in the show notes on the podcast. We would love for you guys to just jump in there and continue the conversation between episodes. We're going to be talking very, very soon about the Game of Year awards. That's going to come up in just a couple of weeks, and so we'll be chatting about that stuff and so much more in our Discord, and we would love for you guys to join in there. Also, just remember to subscribe on your favorite podcast app or right here on YouTube. You can hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to be alerted every time we go live. And if you enjoy the podcast, be sure to hit that like button. That also helps others to find this podcast as well. But before we get into anything else, like what we've been playing and all the news and everything, we have some exciting news to announce that our podcast founder, Hassan, had a baby between the last podcast and this one. So congratulations, Hassan, on your new addition to your family, the new gamer to your family. And He shared a little bit with us just a couple days ago, saying, he's got the new Switch game, Baby's Real Life or something like that, which is great. And it's just crazy that he put this. He showed a picture with us, and he had a picture of his Switch right next to the baby, and they're basically the same size. So it's just kind of crazy. So yeah, Greg, Barry, do you guys have anything to say in terms of congratulations to Hassan?
Yeah, congratulations, Hassan. I'm so proud of you and your lovely wife, and I'm happy that the pregnancy went well and the delivery went well, and wish you the best of luck, both of you the best of luck in this new endeavor, in this new journey of life.
Yep, definitely a very well-deserved congratulations, and now the fun part begins with becoming the father figure and always being there for the baby and teaching the baby how to play Nintendo and keeping it strong. And so we'll have another podcast host somewhere down the line.
That's right. We got our successor right there.
Next 20 years when we're all three of us are ready to retire.
That's right. I love how we put teaching the baby all the things it needs to know, playing video games. It's right up there. Priorities for sure. So just saying hi to the people in the chat. Jakester's in there, Mike's in there, and a few other people. Thank you guys so much for joining. Be sure to jump in. Let us know what you're playing. Let us know your thoughts on all the different Nintendo news that we're going to be talking about tonight. And we'd love for you guys to to hear what your thoughts are. Jesse's just asking, any Zelda fans? No, not at all around here. Greg, what have you been up to since the last time we talked, which was 2 weeks ago, since we took off for Thanksgiving? So, yeah, what have you been up to over the last couple weeks in terms of playing games?
Yeah, I got quite a lengthy list, and it actually is tons of retro stuff too. So I'm still going with Animal Crossing. I'm sure we'll probably talk about the Turkey Day update in a little bit after with you guys and everything, but still playing that just about every day, but skipping a few more days now, but still playing weekly anyways. Still playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with my daughter. She absolutely loves Mario Kart, as you'll see as my other games get announced. I did play some more Super Mario 3D All-Stars, playing Mario Sunshine. I got another like 10 or 12 shines or whatever, so I'm slowly climbing up there and just been kind of going through the very first 3 levels of the game, collecting every single shine, including the 100 coin shine, which is kind of absurd in this game. Really, there's barely 100 coins in the level to begin with. Then I actually finally took a look at the Pikmin 3 Deluxe demo, and my God, I'm very surprised at how fun and addictive that game is, and I'm really trying to lobby to get it for Christmas now, because it's an absolute fantastic game that I'm surprised they waited out so long on. So cheers to Barry for trying to help me get into that a little bit.
I'm glad.
Then now time for the additional retro titles. So I actually turned on my 3DS, which surprisingly still had a little charge on it.
Really?
Since the last time I played a few years ago. That's because we got Mario Party Star Rush as like a random game to me and my daughter to play because she's really into Mario Party. And then continuing on, so that was like my first time playing the 3DS version because I was kind of at a Mario Party at that time when it was actually out. So I think Alex reviewed it for us, if I remember right. Yeah, it was pretty fun. It's kind of interesting to see that you can kind of move like across like a chess-like board, and there's just like different terrain to go through when you're moving around the board. And then you pick up other characters as allies, so that's certainly a very different Mario Party game that I ever played. So kind of fun. Then on Wii is where the main action's been at. I've been playing Mario Party 8 and 9. This we're really into Mario Party. We also dabbled into our first experience with Mario Kart Wii with my daughter, and she absolutely loved some of those courses, especially like Mushroom Gorge and some other really fun ones like Wario's Gold Mine and Toad's Factory. A lot of the same ones that I liked, she liked as well. And then we did dabble into Wii Sports Resort and did some bowling and stuff. So then she really had a lot of fun, especially with that 100-pin challenge, trying to get a strike there.
Nice.
Then we also, at the very end of it, we did New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and that was kind of difficult for her because she's still kind of grasping being able to jump over pits and landing on certain platforms and stuff. So a lot of it, I was either carrying her through the level or she was kind of bubbling past a good portion of the level. So
Oh, the
hoping to
bubbles.
continue that one, but quite possibly not. But yeah, that's. And then obviously on mobile, still doing Fire Emblem Heroes. And then Barry might be happy to know I did try Mario Kart Tour for my daughter's sake, and been kind of trying to spam these last few days to finish off the current tour. But
I really thought you might have been saying Barry might be happy that I tried Xenoblade, but
it's on the mobile section, so
We tried.
we can still try. Hey, Xenoblade 2 is it still on sale? I think it might be got a couple days left, so you still got a chance. All right, Barry, what have you been up to?
Yeah, so 2 weeks. It's been a crazy 2 weeks due to the holidays and my father-in-law being in town. So that not only limits how much I can play, but thankfully he's been a little more relaxed and letting me play and watching me and just enjoying watching me. So on the Switch, I've still been doing Animal Crossing, every day, and even today with December, I caught the final fish, and I'm just waiting till the 11th when there's snow to catch the final bug, and I'm down to the final 2 sea creatures, which come out in March, and now the collection for Toy Day stuff begins. I've also been playing Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. I got that and I actually beat it before my father-in-law came in, but it was so much fun and I just really enjoyed it that I 100%ed that game.
Wow.
And I find it way more accessible than the original Hyrule Warriors. It's just, it just doesn't feel like too much of a grind. And it's just a blast. It's one of those where you can, certain missions you have to use certain characters, but a lot of them you can use anyone you want. So I like that. I know some people didn't like what the story was because it is not as it's advertised, and I agree. They advertised the game poorly. It is definitely not totally what they advertise. It's partially, but only about 50% what they advertise. But it is still a very good game. I've also played a little Old School Gamer, which is it's like an 8-bit style rhythm game. Set in spoof worlds based on NES games. So there's a spoof Metal Gear Solid level and a Mega Man level and stuff like that, and a Pokemon level, and it's just really interesting how they do it. It's fun. It's a fun little game.
Nice.
PS5. I'm finished Spider-Man Remastered. What a rush! That game is a lot of fun. I did not 100% that one. I planned on it, but I ran out of time with my father-in-law there. But I did finish it, and it really motivated me to go into Miles Morales. So I did that. Miles Morales is a significantly shorter game. I played one night, probably about 3 hours, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like 60% through the story already. I finished it in 2 days, and I didn't grind 2 days. It probably took me 6 or so hours to beat it, 6 to 7. I didn't do everything. I did, just rushing through the story. The story's good. The combat's good. My only complaint is maybe some of the enemies feel a little bullet spongy, or in the sense of you hit them 5 times and you web kick them into a wall and they're still getting up, and I'm like, really? Really? Should they be? And I played on the easiest setting for the story, and I'm like, maybe if it was Nightmare or the hardest setting, I could see that, but really on the easiest setting, they're getting back up. All right, fine, I'll punch them again. What's one concussion? Let's give you 2. The PC, I've been doing still a little Final Fantasy 14, although not as much. Mobile, like Greg, still doing Mario Kart Tour. The tour ends tonight, so I gotta finish up and try and secure first place, although it's getting tough in the higher ranks now. And still doing Dragalia Lost. They just did they just started another crossover. This is the first crossover they actually started with a series. I don't really know. They did Mega Man and they did Fire Emblem twice and they did Monster Hunter, and they're like, oh yeah, here's another crossover, and I'm like, yes, what is it? What is it after all this pedigree of great titles? And this crossover out of nowhere is Princess Connect Redive. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is. But it's just a raid event, but the characters this time are not limited, so I'm like, okay, good. I don't really have to worry about it that much. But I'm happy to see more crossovers and more content. The game is still going strong, and they're still talking to the gamers and the players, and I like that. The open communication, I think, is probably the strongest point at this point of the game, the part that I love the most.
Cool.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Cool. Let's go to the chat real quick. Let's see. Jakester said he started Super Mario Galaxy and still playing Genshin. Is it Genshin or Jensen? I never remember. I think it's Genshin.
I'd say Genshin.
And Fate Grand Order. Jesse Glenn just beat Origami King and says it's so incredible. Also played a level of Gunlord X last night. Certainly worth the wait. And then, let's see. some other people. Jakester was chiming in, said Mushroom Gorge is a fun track. I agree. That was the one that they had in the Wii Games 2010 that my wife and I ended up winning and getting to go to the finals and everything in California. That was the one we get to compete in to get there. And that was, I grinded that one a lot, and I have a pretty good time on that one. And then, let's see. Yeah, it looks like that's what everybody else is talking about. But I have been playing some Rocket League. Played a lot of Rocket League over the last couple weeks. A very little bit of Animal Crossing. In fact, Greg, I know you mentioned Turkey Day. I actually completely forgot about Turkey Day.
Oh, no.
I did. Totally forgot about Turkey Day.
Reset your clock.
Yeah, I could always jump back. And then played some Jackbox games, 7. So that's the newest pack. And I am not as much of a big fan of pack 7. I think it's cool they did a new version of Quiplash. It's like Quiplash 3. And they've got, a couple other games that are kind of fun. Some of them are kind of confusing and complicated a little bit. Especially, so I streamed it and played with my family who was elsewhere and people that are here and tried to do that. And a lot of the games I think are really made for people being in the same room. So they're not as streaming friendly. And then played some Smash Brothers, actually. Smash Brothers Ultimate. And that was fun. I did not have my Pro controller or GameCube controller or anything with me, and so I was playing with the first time I'd ever tried just playing with the Joy-Con turned sideways. That's kind of challenging. Not as challenging as I thought it would be. I got the hang of it, but it's still not as fun as playing with a real controller. And then I was going to play Hyrule Warriors because I'm not throwing it around. I picked it up, told Barry and Greg, I was like, hey, guess what I picked up today? I wasn't expecting to get it till closer to Christmas, but it was staring me in the face as I was walking around Walmart the other day and decided to get it. And have not fired it up because out of the blue, I got surprised with a review copy of Immortals Phoenix Rising. And so I've been playing that instead of Hyrule Warriors.
So jealous.
And unfortunately, I tried to get some additional copies, but we were only able to get one. It's... a lot of the other reviews went live today. I think the review embargo dropped today, and I'm not far enough along where I felt comfortable writing a review yet. But so I'll just kind of quickly give first impressions. Is that it's a lot funnier than I expected it to be, for sure. Like the dialogue, I just thought it was going to kind of be pretty straightforward, like action game sort of thing, and their dialogue is actually humorous, which is really interesting, especially like the gods are like talking to each other, and everything. And I'm still kind of in the tutorial kind of portion of the beginning of the game, and which I feel like is a little longer than it needs to be, but it's interesting. That's a tough thing to try to balance, I think, for a lot of games like that, but it's cool that they have so many different difficulty options as well. You can just do like focus on the story, easy, hard, difficult, and I think there's like a really, really difficult level or difficulty that you can unlock if you beat hard, it's I'm enjoying it. I think that's really all I can say so far because I'm not far enough along to actually have any like really solid like review kind of statements, except for it's fun and it's a lot more funny than I thought it'd be, and controls are interesting, especially moving around a menu, because you actually, like, the analog stick moves a cursor around. I don't know why they do stuff like that. Like, why not just like make it jump from one option to the other? But yeah. So that's my first impressions. I'll have more further thoughts as I continue playing and everything. But You guys are like talking away in the chat over here. I'm just like seeing it fly through here. Let's see. Did I miss anything important? Jakester says it's not as challenging as using a sideways Wii remote. I completely agree. At least it has bumpers. And Jakester's hoping to get Immortals for Christmas. Then the rest of you guys are talking about the other podcast that Barry's on.
We're talking about actually the last industry talk that I had with Dan Conkin.
Nice.
With about Battle Hunters.
Cool. Well, I'm going to let you guys chat for just a bit about Turkey Day, because I didn't get a chance to experience it. So, Greg and Barry, how was Animal Crossing Turkey Day?
Go for it, Greg.
I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised. Like they had that Franklin guy came around, and you could start it pretty much, I think, any point in the day. I mean, I started playing around noon, and he was all set and ready for us to go. But pretty much you had to gather some ingredients, and then he would finish 4 different dishes. So like the first one was just giving him like a 3 of the manila clams, so then he could make the clam chowder, and then was giving him some pumpkins to make the pumpkin pie. And then we had to find like some sea creatures to make whatever the third dish was. And then the last dish, instead of being turkey, was like fish. You had to catch like 2 different fish. So pretty much, if you had trouble like actually finding those ingredients, you could talk to the villagers, and you could trade them something else, like any type of fish, and they would give you like one of the ingredients that you need, or one of the possibility ingredients that it could have been. And then they would actually tell you like a special secret ingredient that you have to do after you do the first set of 4. So after you complete the first 4 dishes the first time, then you can go back and do a secret ingredient where you can enhance all 4 of the dishes again. And then he gives out additional Turkey Day items, with the capstone item being like the entire recipes of all the items that you just collected. And you'll probably be happy to hear this, Steve, but he actually said you can buy it in Nook's Cranny too for like a limited time. So you can buy every single recipe, and you can just craft it all on your own. It doesn't require any special currency that was only event exclusive, but it's just like standard like wood and ore and stones and stuff to build all the different turkey items.
Cool.
That's not entirely true, though. There are a few items like the cornucopia, I believe, that are exclusive to Turkey Day that Franklin will give you the first time around.
I wasn't sure if it was like a recipe for it or not. I didn't really look through every recipe.
I think it's the cornucopia, the rug, the flooring, and the wall are exclusive to the actual event. So you'll have to turn back the time to get it. But it was fun. It was. I like that they made it easy. And quick, because they obviously know people will be spending time with their family and may not have as much time to play.
Forget all about it altogether.
Or forget about it. I do appreciate that. It didn't take a lot of time at all, and it's so much better than the farm the balloons. And I like that they put the recipes in the shop, and they give it to you a day early as a gift if you completed all the special recipes and all that stuff. So it was good. I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they're keeping up. One of the things they did, which was kind of sneaky, not for Turkey Day, but just in general, is they added in some brand new summer DIYs to the game. They added these brand new DIYs recently in the patch that added like the November, December stuff. But it's now November, December. So in order for a completionist to play Animal Crossing and get everything, they now have to wait until next summer to be able to get everything. So it's kind of a little tricky to say like, oh, keep playing. But at the same time, it's also like, seriously, come on. But it's probably for like the other hemisphere summer. So they might do that, they might add new things consistently throughout the years. Who knows how long they'll keep it going.
That makes sense. Cool.
Yeah, and we do have the Mario furniture coming in March too, so I don't know if somehow that's related to this new summer things too.
Oh wait, there's something good in March? We'll get to that in just a second. But before we move on to news and everything like that, did either of you guys get any big Black Friday or Cyber Monday deals? Like, did you guys go after anything in particular? I know we talked about some different stuff, but did you guys actually get anything, Barry?
Yeah, we decided this year instead of we do this periodically instead of like getting each other gifts because it's really hard to buy each other gifts at this point because as you get more older and older usually you just like if you want something you just buy it like you want it bad enough you just buy it and we're trying to get rid of a lot of junk so we really don't have the room to just keep buying things so I was showing my wife like do you want this it's cute and she'd be like it's cute but I don't have the room for it so instead of worrying about what we're going to buy each other and since we really didn't do much this year thanks to 2020 we decided to instead get a gift for each of us in terms of a house gift and upgrade our entertainment center for, we're not going to the movies. This way we get our movies. So we took advantage of a Black Friday sale. We bought it like a week, 2 weeks early because a lot of places started a few weeks early. So we decided the go big or go home. So we decided to get a 75-inch 8K Samsung TV.
Nice.
We went big, and we followed that up with the top-of-the-line Samsung Q Symphony soundbar with the surround sound and everything. Because we didn't have any of that, so we're like, let's go big, let's go home. Let's the Dolby Atmos, the whole 9 yards.
Nice.
And that was our big purchase. Obviously, it was for the two of us, and I will say. Like, there is a difference playing Animal Crossing on a 1080p TV and an 8K upscaled. Like, the colors just pop. Like, we noticed, like, little details on items we never knew before because we could see them much clearer. It looks like a whole new game.
And this much bigger, too.
Yeah, well, we went from a 60-inch to a 75, so it's not that much bigger.
Oh, okay.
But it was like one of those things where it was like, wow, like this looks fantastic. And of course, playing the PlayStation 5 and the Series X, 4K upscaled to 8K, we definitely noticed like Spider-Man looks incredible. Like you can see the little smudges on the windows, and you can see the little details in the brickwork and the lighting, the real-time lighting reflections and all that stuff. It's just incredible.
Nice.
So that was our big.
Did you get the 120 hertz out of the PS5?
Well, I would imagine so.
Okay.
It's 120.
I hope
TV.
So. Okay.
Well, I like Spider-Man does it in 2 modes, so it's either like graphic fidelity at 30 frames or like artificial 4K at 60 frames. So I was doing the 30 frames, the highest it could do it.
Nice.
So it looked fantastic. So that was the big thing, and then. For gaming wise, Best Buy had a bunch of games. They rocked like $10 games. I was shocked, and a lot of them on sale that I hadn't picked up, like Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us Part 2, stuff like that. That I never really went for. I figured I'd get on sale, so I did. Bandai Namco had a great sale. They had a lot of their games for $10, PS4 and Xbox One. They had like Dragon Ball Fighter Z. There's some Switch stuff too, but I already had the Switch stuff, so I went for the other systems. They had One Piece games and My Hero Academia games and Dragon Ball Z Kakarot was on sale. So I was like, okay, cool. Now I'll pick up a lot of these. Soul Calibur 6 was like $10. I never got it, so I'm like, $10, I'll get it. And then Square Enix had a sale as well. They usually do. Square Enix's sales are always a blast because they seem to have a stockpile of DS, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 titles, and they're selling them for like $3. Like you can get like Final Fantasy Origins Greatest Hits on PS1 brand new for like $3. It's like, okay, direct from Square. Nice. So they had a couple like Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. I never got. I got that. I never got like the Final Fantasies on the Xbox One. So since we have the Series X now, I figured for $10 I'll get Final Fantasy 10, 10-2, and Final Fantasy 12 for $10 and stuff like that. So that's mainly what I was doing for Black Friday.
Cool. Hassan is in the chat, so we'll congratulate him once again. Hassan, you missed us. Go back to the beginning of the podcast, and you can hear us congratulating you again. Jakester says that his grandmother got him Lego Incredibles on Cyber Monday, but it's going to be a Christmas present. Yeah, I think that's. If any of the rest of you guys got any Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or like the whole season of Black Friday, because a lot of stores are doing that this year. You guys got any good games on sale? Let us know in the chat. Greg, did you end up picking anything up this year?
Yeah, they're primarily going to be Christmas presents for my daughter. We did get the Mario Kart Switch bundle and Mario Tennis Aces, so we're looking forward to seeing her enjoy opening those up on Christmas
Nice.
Day. So
Nice.
don't want to talk too much about it. I don't know if she's like walking around the house. And, thankfully, she doesn't listen to the podcast yet, but. Broadcasting it out of my mouth where
Nice. I did not actually get anything this year, which is really surprising. But we did have family in town, and we ended up kind of hanging out with them a lot, and so I didn't really get a chance to do any shopping this year. But I know some of those deals are still going on, so I'm gonna be checking them out at some point, especially all the digital ones. But all right, let's talk about the news. We're already like at a half an hour, and we haven't even got into the news. That's what happens when we don't get a chance to actually talk in person for 2 weeks. So let's jump into the news. Something big happened today. We got a new Switch firmware update. We're now at version 11. That's right, 11. And you're all probably wondering, does that mean what I think it means? Do we finally have themes and folders? No, it doesn't. But we do have some other cool stuff. So I'm going to run through all the updates for version 11. Dave did an awesome job of just kind of outlining it here. And first thing you notice when you update your firmware is that there's a new Switch Online button on the home screen where you can access all the Switch Online services, kind of all your membership status and things like that. There's also a new feature that automatically downloads backed up save data that's in the cloud. So, for instance, if you have 2 different Switches, it will automatically download the most up-to-date or the most recent backed up cloud data back on your other system. So that's really cool. So it should make the ability, give you the ability to pop back and forth between your 2 Switches or 3 or whatever you have a lot easier, because before you maybe had to actually manually go in there and download it. So that's pretty cool. There's also a new trending feature, which was added to the user page, where you can see what games that your friends have been playing and which games are trending among your friends list. That's pretty great. Also, finally, they have updated the ability to share screenshots and videos from your device to a smart device. However, it's not as nice as you would think. It doesn't just like pop in the Nintendo service or the app like you'd think it would. Nope, you gotta choose the photos and videos you want, and then share or take a picture, basically scan the QR code, and it will give you those images on a screen, basically, and then like you on your computer or your device, and then you have the ability to then download them to your actual album or whatever from your smart device. So that's kind of a little janky, but hey, it works. And then you also have the ability to connect your Switch via USB to your computer and actually be able to bring over images and videos that way. That's kind of cool to be able to do that. And then also you can now select what download. So for instance, if you have multiple games that are downloading at the same time, you can actually select which one you want to prioritize. So that's a cool update. Of course, we have new user icons, 12 new user icons that commemorate the 35th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers. And users can now name preset button mappings with the button mapping feature that was in a previous update. And Brazilian Portuguese was added as a supported language. And of course, some other, stability things and stuff like that have been added as well. So yeah, what do you guys think about this pretty big update? Greg, what's your thoughts around this?
Well, obviously it's nice to have all these things here, but like, you don't like the download prioritize thing. You almost wonder why that wasn't there, like in versions like 2 or 3 or something, because that seems like it's something kind of would want.
Yeah,
I understand. You just pick up a Switch, you might like, oh, I want to buy Mario Kart 8, I want to buy Mario Tennis, and I want to buy Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, and then it's going to just download them in that order instead of like, hey, I really wanted to play Breath of the Wild first, so let's download that. Like, why isn't it prioritizing that one? So that's definitely a very welcome feature. I thought it was kind of a missed opportunity. They didn't add 35 new icons for Mario 35th anniversary.
Yeah.
But didn't have to be all Mario icons either. It could have just been like, oh, we added 35 icons, because I feel like there's not a lot of those already. So the more options, the better. Still surprised we don't have themes and folders like we should. I would think that we'd have that kind of stuff by now. Wii and Wii U, 3DS had that stuff, and I don't know why it's so complicated to have that here. Yeah, it's always nice to have firmware updates. I didn't get a chance to download it yet, but I'll be doing that tonight. So
Cool. Barry, what do you think of this update?
I downloaded it and I really haven't messed around with it. It's just it's not giving me yet what I want. Like, I still want these themes. I still want folders. Still want a little more user, just quality of life stuff. And it just is what it is. I'm only downloading it because I have to.
Nice. Yeah. I think the only thing that really that feels like it's, and it's still not like really stepping forward, but I think the trending stuff is cool. But it's stuff that Xbox and PlayStation already has. But it's kind of a cool new step in the other direction. The rest of the things, like, I'm really excited about the cloud downloads. That's great. But the rest of pretty much all of these updates, it's catch up. Things that should have been on there from almost day one. But they're just like slowly, bringing these features that are not brand new ideas. They're just like playing catch up every time they update this thing. So, but it's cool that they are doing it, but I wish it was more.
Yeah, it's nice to have, and we should have had it.
Right. We shouldn't have had to wait till 2020 to get these things.
I mean, transferring your saves to the cloud, and re-downloading it automatically seems like a thing that they should have done when this online service launched, not like 2 years after.
Right. All right. Well, there's some different things going on. Kind of getting around to our title of this podcast. Beware the 31st of March, because there's several things going on. First of all, the Super Mario 35, Super Mario Brothers 35 is apparently going away at that point, right? And then also Super Mario All-Stars is supposed to go away around that time as well. They're just going to stop selling it around that time too.
Yeah, it's going to be delisted from the eShop and removed from store shelves.
Right. So, Greg, there's also a little game that you enjoy that's apparently going away on March 31st as well. Tell us a little about that one before we kind of dive into some speculation and discussion.
All right, so join the list of the Doomsday Armageddon for Nintendo. Super Mario Maker on Wii U is going to be pretty much ceasing service, so you'll no longer be able to upload courses in Super Mario Maker for Wii U. The Super Mario Maker bookmark website will be going down, and due to that, you won't be able to see like ranking of liked courses and looking up bookmark courses and whatnot either. So I really enjoyed that bookmark site. I used it very frequently during the time playing it, and it's very sad to see that this game goes down, because that was pretty much my pride and joy in the Wii U era. I mean, I don't know how many podcasts have discussed that I was still playing it, and it was like 2 or 3 years after until the system finally was done. So it's really sad to see it going, and I don't know why they didn't mention it, but I think the 3DS version is also kind of going under with it because it pulled in the courses from the Wii U game. So
yeah,
if they're don't know why that there's no mention of that, but unless it's something completely different that I don't know about. But
yeah,
I guess the existing courses are probably going to stay up, but you just can't make any new courses. So I mean, I don't know how many people are still playing Wii U, because obviously it didn't even sell very well to begin with, the system. but it's still kind of a sad note to see it going away on March 31st.
Yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, we also know that like Fire Emblem, is that right? Like one of the Fire Emblems is going away or something like that. I'm not a huge Fire Emblem fan.
Yeah,
It's a Familian.
it's the localization one that launches in this next week.
Okay.
They localized the very first game, and it's going to be on Switch this week, and then that's also going away on this March 31st Nintendo Doomsday.
So it's one of the temporary games, basically.
Yeah, it's like to celebrate Fire Emblem's anniversary.
Gotcha. So yeah, I know. I mean, there's not a whole lot to discuss around this. It's happening, that sort of thing. But I'm just curious what you guys think. I mean, it's important to let our listeners, our viewers, know about this sort of thing so they can plan accordingly or whatever. A Wii U game going away, it's bound to happen at some point. But to have like 3 Switch games kind of going away on that date. And then there's also, I mean, this is not tied in necessarily to the March 31st thing necessarily, but there's also a rumor around Nintendo UK said like they've discontinued the Switch dock on their website. That doesn't necessarily mean that the dock is discontinued altogether, but they're no longer carrying it on their website. And I think this is according to someone on Reddit that talked to someone from Nintendo UK, and they said yes, they've discontinued it on their website. But it is a lot more difficult to get a Switch dock nowadays, and so it almost seems like, I mean, something's happening, right? Something is bound to happen maybe around the early next year with games kind of being closed out, maybe the dock maybe going away. I don't know. Is this me just kind of getting too excited about something, or do you guys actually think something is going to be happening in early 2021? Barry, what do you think?
I mean, I already speculated about in March with Monster Hunter Rise and Balan Wonderland both coming out the exact same day. And I do feel that if there's going to be a Switch Pro, that would be a good day to do it, since both of those are big titles from big third parties that could take advantage of the system, the more advanced system. The dock thing, that's pure speculation, but I will say that when this whole pandemic started, I looked into getting a 4th dock, thinking, oh, maybe I'll have it here at my desk and I'll do some streaming. And I couldn't find a dock. I could not find an official dock. It was sold out everywhere, which is funny because I got our 3rd dock for $40 at Target because they had them like on sale, and I can't even get docks. So it certainly could be something. I'm not gonna say it is. As for Mario Maker, this is what's going to happen. And I think a lot of people are still living in that bubble that servers are going to stay up forever and digital games will be there forever. And they're not. They are not going to be there forever. They will be eventually shut down. They will be there as long as it is cost effective to remain, because all of the big 3, as well as every publisher, it's a business. And if they have, if this Mario Maker server was making them money, they were still making money on it to justify keeping it up, they would. But clearly it's now gone into the realm of costing them. It hasn't bounced back, so they're giving advance notice, and they're just going to kill it. The same thing's going to happen with every service out there, period. And look how many games have come out that have been like service games. They've been games, physical even, but like online only type with a service, that have died almost as quickly as they launched. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the game Mag. Sony was touting it. It was one of the big pillars for the PlayStation 3. It was a multiplayer online, or massively multiplayer online game. It was like 72 players at once. Like, this has never been done before. And it died within, I feel like months. Like, it is a coaster now. You can't even find it used like at a GameStop or anything. Then you have, speaking of GameStops, they put out a game, Deformers. They advertise as one of GameStop exclusives. They publish it, Deformers. It looks so cute. My wife is super excited about it. Turns out it was an online-only game, and it failed so badly that it died again within maybe a month or two. Like there are these games that they're not profitable, they die on release. Well, the same thing's going to happen to every other online style game or every other service. Once it becomes non-profitable, they will shut down. They're not going to leave it up because little Timmy still wants to play Mario Maker. No, they're going to say, you know what, get Mario Maker 2 on the Switch and move on. So that's just another reason to go physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a digital copy of the game or not. I mean, you can't upload a course. That's primary functionality. It's like you can't even, if you have the physical version, you're not going to be able to upload it anywhere because the entire service is going to be going down.
You're right, but you could still play the Nintendo levels and you could still, make your own stuff.
It's true.
Yeah, you just can't share it. That's the same thing if you have the digital version. They're going to take it out of the eShops. You can't buy it. But those that did buy it, like myself, you can still download the game and do the same kind of things you can with the physical version. But the main thing is you can't upload a course, which is pretty much the primary function of the game.
Yeah, it's really
showing levels. Yes, you can build courses, but then you can't share them.
Right, which is like, for a game that's like that's what it's built upon, really. I mean, yeah, you get the included stuff, but like half the game is what's included, half the game is what's out there. So that's really unfortunate. Yeah. But Greg, do you think? I mean, is it a coincidence that all this stuff's coming to a close at the end of March? Like, should we be looking forward to something? Like, is there just a doomsday, and get your games while you can?
It's really hard to say because a lot of the stuff that is going away is like this anniversary stuff. So it's all Mario and Fire Emblem anniversary stuff. So I mean, Wii U is kind of like an interesting case because I mean, obviously the system didn't sell very well. There's probably very little people that are actually even playing it because you probably already have a Switch. I'm thinking most Wii U owners upgraded to a Switch already. So I don't think that that's necessarily a huge pointing sign, but it certainly could be that something is coming in March, like a Switch Pro or even the next gen system. But I'm surprised we wouldn't have additional information on like bigger titles like Breath of the Wild or something happening there, like the DLC will be removed from the shop or something. I don't know. But it's really hard to say if it is pointing to something bigger, if it's just like this is the anniversary stuff, or a fiscal year ends on this date and boom, cut the anniversary stuff. I don't think they should be cutting that stuff, but I can understand like why it is being cut.
Yeah. Looks like we got some other people jumping in the chat. Roberto's here, Dave's here. I think we've referred to Dave a couple times before, but I forget if we didn't. Hey again. And then also Jared's in the chat as well and says that usually by the time they shut down the servers, he's already done with the game. So that's really nice. If you can play a game, when it comes out, that's really the unfortunate thing is what about those people who just didn't get around to playing some of these games, and all of a sudden, like now they miss out on half of their game, essentially, because they closed down the servers.
Yeah, it would be really stinky to already have bought the Wii U for somebody for Christmas and Mario Maker,
right?
And then they only get like 3 months to be able to really, truly experience the game and upload courses and everything.
Right, someone that's really excited.
I'm sure there's some footprints out there where there's not very many people even playing the courses anyway, so I'm sure they have data that is very minimal usage.
I would say outside of like the collectors or the people who just wanted a Wii U out of curiosity and they were actively looking for one, I think there's going to be very few people out there that are going to open up their presents on Christmas and find a Wii U and be excited at this point in the game.
But it could happen. I mean, I know a lot of people, like even Greg, like you said, you guys are just now, you busted out the Wii. And I think there's probably a lot of people out there that might have, gotten a really good deal on a used Wii U at GameStop, and they can't afford a Switch, they can't afford an Xbox or whatever, but they were able to get their kid a Wii U. And they're like, oh, cool, Super Mario Maker. I think there will be some people like that. It may not be a large number, but, I think you have a good point, Greg.
3 months.
Well, let's move on to some other unfortunate news. Greg, tell us about this the Smash events that apparently are being canceled.
Yeah, so Big House was going to be hosting some Smash tournaments. I don't know if it was the date passed officially or not, but it was supposed to be right around like this time. They had like a bunch of the main like Smash Brothers elite players like invited and everything, like Hungry Box and like everybody else that usually attends those. Obviously, with the coronavirus of this year, they can't host like the event at the actual venue. So then they were looking to actually do like a virtual event. And obviously, anyone that understands the GameCube, it was not made to play online. So they were able to make like a special service to like kind of like hack the ROM of Melee and make an actual online mode that kind of mimicked like had a top level play, like very smooth like functionality and everything. And then they were also going to do like the Smash Bros. Ultimate because obviously that's the most recent game and that's already online already. And then Nintendo caught wind of it, and then their lawyer sent them the cease and desist. So then, like, their official note was like Nintendo appreciates the love and dedication the fighting game community has for Super Smash Bros. Series. We have partnered with numerous Smash Bros. Tournaments in the past and have hosted our own online and offline tournaments for the game. We plan to continue that in the future. Unfortunately, the upcoming Big House tournament announced plans to host an online tournament for Super Smash Bros. Melee that requires use of illegally copied versions of the game in conjunction with a mod called Slippy during their online event. Nintendo therefore contacted the tournament organizers to ask them to stop. They refused, leaving Nintendo no choice but to step in to protect its intellectual property and brands. Nintendo cannot condone or allow piracy of its intellectual properties. So, obviously, in a time where we're trying to be together and enjoy games, people are feeling that Nintendo kind of overstepped their bounds to cancel a tournament, and it's not like they really did major hacks of the game. All they did was allow it to be able to be played online and enjoyed by fans being able to watch it and be in like attendance in the virtual rooms and everything. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that, but I know a lot of Smash fans are very disappointed with Nintendo over this decision.
Yeah. Barry, I'm interested to hear what you say about this.
I mean, this is a gray area.
Yeah.
It would have been really cool for the event organizers to reach out to Nintendo to see if there was some way they could do this officially. Due to the pandemic, hopefully Nintendo would have been a little more lenient. As it stands, they were doing, something illegal. They were, using illegal versions of ROMs and hacking, which I think is really cool to get Melee online, but Nintendo did ask them to stop, and at that point, when they refused, Nintendo, it's Nintendo. They're going to do that. They're going to protect their IP. I think this could have had a different outcome if there was just some more communication between the event organizers and Nintendo. I think that's the event organizers trying to skate under the radar, and they failed to do so, and they got caught, and they tried to ignore, Nintendo saying stop. It's a shame, especially with Evo not happening this year, and then obviously with COVID. Hopefully they could do it next time. Hopefully somebody at Nintendo will look into this stuff and say, hey, maybe we could do an official version for tournaments and maybe make it a timed thing where, all right, we'll let you download this version via Switch, and it's Melee, and it's only good for like this weekend, and it's only given to the event organizers, and it's an official version of Melee Online, and therefore can do that. They have the power to do that, and that would be really cool. We'll see if something like that happens, but that's all really on Nintendo's court.
Yeah. I mean, Jigsaw just said that Nintendo was in their legal right, but I really think this was the wrong move in the moral sense. And yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, it totally was in with their legal right. I mean, Nintendo is very much against piracy and hacking and all that stuff. Like they've tried to take a really strong arm against that, a really big strong arm against that. But But at the same time, it's like, could they have like give it a little more leniency because of everything going on? I think, like you said, Barry, I agree. I think the tournament organizers should have reached out and they should have tried to work something out. I think they should have seen this coming. I think they know Nintendo. We know Nintendo. We know that if you're able to, or you're going to put a version of the game, of their game, that is clearly hacked, that Nintendo is going to strike out, especially if you're going like to really put it out there like they did. Like it'd be different if it's some like private little thing that Nintendo doesn't know about, but like they wanted to make this big. And of course Nintendo's going to find out. And yeah, I think they should have reached out. Greggy, any other thoughts about this before we move on?
Yeah, it's definitely that's where the moral side of it is. Everyone really wanted it to happen because it's COVID and it's something to be happy and celebrate the games. But obviously, that is their property and they're not going to abide by people like taking advantage of distributing their game. Obviously, it's a hacked version, so it is no one obviously has it except for the people distributing it. So therefore, it's not something that Nintendo made and obviously can be frowned upon. So kind of stinks for the Smash fans, but in a sense, it kind of levels out this like, oh, this Nintendo has the right to protect it, and I guess they could have just canceled the Melee part of it. I don't know why they canceled the Ultimate part, but unless it was all or nothing, I don't know. So.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah, at that point, they already ticked off Nintendo and they said, nope, nothing at all. That's the unfortunate part. I wish they would have just taken away the Melee part and still allowed everything else to continue because that was fine. But I would be interested to how they're going to hold a Smash Brothers Ultimate online tournament anyhow, because the online sucks. But anyway, let's move on to our last really big story. Barry, we've got the Game Awards is coming out in just a few short days, and Nintendo got a little bit of some nods. Tell us about the nominations and to kind of walk us through what was announced a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so on the November 18th, Jeff Keighley did a little live nomination announcement for the Game Awards, which is airing December 10th. So not for our next podcast, but right before our final of the year in our own Game Awards. But they seem to be following a pattern. It seems to be that whoever opens up their wallet the most, gets the most nods. And last year was definitely Death Stranding was the golden child, and this time it seems to be Last of Us Part 2 with a little bit of Ghost of Tsushima, definitely getting a lot of nods. And the way I look at award shows, I'm not saying these games don't deserve stuff, don't get me wrong, but if every nomination was virtually the same, if one thing's nominated in everything, it gets boring. Like give some nods to other things. And there were a lot of snubs in the nominations. And Nintendo was not totally snubbed, but they were partially snubbed. And first off, for Game of the Year, Nintendo has two things there: Animal Crossing: New Horizons, which some people feel is more of a charity nod that's on the Switch, and Last of Us Part 2 are the nominations. And all of these, you can go to the official site and you can vote. So do so. Vote for whomever you want. And if you do feel Last of Us Part 2 should deserve it, absolutely go ahead and make that nomination. But as for Nintendo titles, Animal Crossing was also nominated for Best Family and the Best Multiplayer categories. Hades had the most nominations. It's nominated, like I said, for Game of the Year, Best Game Direction, Best Narrative, Best Art Direction, Best Score and Music, Best Performance, Best Indie, and Best Action categories. Hades just really racking it up there. Fortnite, which is still getting nods, nominated for Best Ongoing, Best Community Sport, and Best Esports Game. There's some snubs there and the Best Ongoing, but I'm not going to go there. Mario Kart Live, Home Circuit, Paper Mario, Origami King, and Minecraft Dungeons all nominated in the Best Family category. So that's probably the safest category for Nintendo to usually pull away with a win. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, nominated for Best Art Direction, Best Score in Music, and Best Action Adventure. It's odd talking about a Microsoft game here, but that is now on the Switch. Thank you, I am 8-Bit. Through the Darkest Times, Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition, and If Found are all nominated in the Games for Impact category. I think that is probably my favorite category in all of the game awards that they do.
Yeah.
The speeches always bring me to tears, and as someone who does love indies and gets to talk to indie developers a lot and loves the indie scene, that is just the nearest and dearest to my personal heart. Spiritfarer is nominated for Best Indie Game and also the Games of Impact. Carrion's nominated for Best Indie Game and Best Debut. Raji, an ancient epic, and Roki are both nominated in the Best Debut. Streets of Rage 4 nominated for Best Action category. I think it's a Sega game for you. Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate and Under Night in Birth EX Late are both nominated for Best Fighting. And for those sports racer games, we got FIFA 21 and NBA 2K21. Even though FIFA 21 on the Switch is the Legacy Edition and NBA 2K21 is not the next-gen version, which I think is the one that's mainly for the nomination. But again, that'll be December 10th. Do go to the website. Do vote. Absolutely do go and vote. And absolutely think that there were a lot of snubs. RPG category was totally missing out on some of the best RPGs of the year, bar none. We're not even nominated, and it just a lot of games just didn't even get looked at, and instead it was like Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima. It just, you start seeing that repeating pattern, and it just, to me, it makes it less exciting. Like, let's see some variations here. Let's give some nods to other games, and especially when you're snubbing games that, in my opinion, are far better than some of those that are nominated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Greg, what do you think about the Game Awards?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I mean, it'd be nice to have more variety, but then I also kind of see, I mean, that's kind of how the Oscars do. You see like the same 3 or 4 movies like in just about every single category. It's like, so they're definitely drawing inspiration from there. It feels like there's like a small bucket of games that make a master list for the year, and then it's like distribute them out all across the categories, and it's really tons of duplication. Obviously, not everyone's going to agree, but I really hope that the people that like nominating the games actually are nominating them like genuinely and not just because they were paid to put this game in there. But I guess we don't really know that side of it because we don't get to determine the nomination. So we get to vote on which ones we think are there. So
Yeah. I think you could probably say that about almost every award ceremony or award show, that sort of thing. Like they always snub a lot of things and kind of tend to focus on the same movies, the same artists, the same games, the same whatever it is. Hopefully we don't do the same thing in our Game of the Year awards a couple weeks from now. We'll see how that goes. Just another shout out. Dave mentioned this in the chat as well, but he's been killing it again. I know I probably say that like every time we have a podcast, but it's so true. He's been doing an awesome job. He took care of that entire list that we just ran through from all the Game Awards. So big props to Dave for being an awesome team member and taking care of all of our news as well. But I pretty much can't say anything that you guys didn't say about the Game Awards. It'd be really great to see some other games on there. And even like people are talking about in the chat, like about Clubhouse Games got snubbed for best family game. I mean, that's a fantastic family game and not even mentioned at all. And then you could dive into all those RPGs that you guys talked about and everything. So, but oh well, I'll probably still watch it because you never know what kind of announcements and things like that Nintendo might pop out or some other people might say during the awards and everything. But probably similar to last year, I'll probably be just having it on the background and not like fully paying attention to it because I've kind of it's just become one of those things it's good background noise while I'm doing something else. And then eventually when I hear something about Nintendo, I'll pay attention and then I'll go back to whatever I was doing. Well, we got a couple of other quick things to talk about, and then we'll kind of wrap up. But those quick things are actually pretty big things. Greg, tell us about Animal Crossing.
Yeah, so recently it was like posted on like Twitter by like the Game Data Library. It says like the Animal Crossing New Horizons is the first game in Japan to top 6 million sales since the new Super Mario Bros. Wii did on Nintendo Wii. So it's a very great job to Animal Crossing to secure that many games just in the Japan region alone. So that's very incredible and definitely very well deserved. It's a fantastic game.
Cool. That's awesome. And Barry, we also have some sales numbers from Hyrule Warriors, huh?
Yeah, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, at least in terms of shipping, has shipped over 3 million units in just 4 days, which sets a new record for the long-running Warriors franchise. And that's crazy to think about. Like, this is a long-running franchise. There's so many different Dynasty Warriors games and spin-offs. There was a previous Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors. There's Persona 5 Scramble. There's, One Piece ones. There's a bunch of other different spin-offs to this series, and Gundam, I think, had one as well. To ship that many in such a short amount of time, that really shows A, the love that Zelda fans have for the games, B, the quality of the game itself, and C, just how starved we are for new Nintendo games.
Right. So
but either way,
true.
it's still a great accomplishment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's really cool. And I was one of them. I wasn't planning on buying it right away, but I did. What was that, Greg?
I was gonna say this year to kind of bring back some memories of the Wii U era. It was just like, oh, we get like one new game and then like 4 months of like silence, and it's like, oh, here's one more drip game and then another like 3 months of like nothing. Like,
Right.
So it was very reminiscent of a Wii U type of year that I was like talking about.
Yeah, for sure. Last thing we're going to mention before we look at the week ahead is that we got some information about Super Nintendo World. And you guys know how excited we are about Super Nintendo World. As soon as we can travel again, I know I'm going to be looking into tickets to Japan. I probably can't afford them, but I'm going to be looking into it at least. But February is when it's actually going to be opening. Super Nintendo World in Japan on February 4th, 2021. Nintendo put some information there. CNN had an article. Several others have an article as well. But we saw some new images of what the park is going to look like. We actually got to see inside a few of the rides, like the Mario Kart ride, and inside Bowser's Castle, and all those sort of things. And that was really exciting. So cool to be able to see the inside of that and know that it's only just a few months away. And then out of nowhere, they dropped a little YouTube video, and so IGN's got the video, and I thought I'd go ahead and play it here on screen. None of us have actually I think Barry got a chance to watch it real quick, but yeah, it's actually actual footage of the park, some aerial images and video of the park, and we just get to see it in action. I mean, there's not a whole lot that is really shown off, but it's just kind of cool to walk through some of these things that are basically the same images that we've seen before. But yeah, if you guys are watching the video version of the podcast, you can see it on the screen right now. It just looks incredible. What do you guys think about Super Nintendo World? Are you going to be, booking your ticket right away like I am? Well, at least how I went to. Barry, what do you think?
I'd love to be there day one. There's obviously the issue of it being Japan. There's also the issue of COVID, and we're not sure exactly where we're going to be in February. And well, I want to go for sure. I also want to stay safe. So it's one of those things where I'm going to have to live vicariously through other people who do get to go, and hope and hope that the reception is so good that Orlando gets back to building that other park, which they did postpone due to COVID, and we get our own, Super Nintendo World over here, because it looks fantastic, and it looks like the kids going to Disney World and they see like Cinderella and Winnie the Pooh and all that. Like, oh my God, like that's how I feel like a kid again. Going to just looking at those video. It's like, oh my God, like I want to go there right now.
I know. Greg, are you gonna eventually make it over to Japan, or you wait until it comes to America?
Most likely wait till it comes to America, but if I had like a unlimited amount of like money and like health, like without having problems with like COVID and everything, I would definitely love to just drop everything and be there for opening day. But that's obviously very realistically not going to happen. So I'll have to bury and live vicariously through everybody else that gets to enjoy it, and just keep praying that they resume the Orlando construction, because we go to Disney World all the time and would gladly take a trip down to Universal Orlando to check it out when it's completed.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be so cool to be able to go. But we'll see. Oh yeah, it looks like my cam did freeze. Well, you guys that are watching the video version, that's interesting. You guys don't get to see me moving, but apparently you get to hear me, so I guess that's okay. It's
kind of frozen in that gym from The Office.
It's just at the that's really weird. Edmund Miranda of Steve's cam stream. I love that my audio is still working. At least that's really nice. Amongst you. Oh man. Before we move into what's coming up over the next week, let's. I just want to remind you guys, of course, to join us on our social media. We're at NintendoFuse on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and also, of course, join our Discord. And if you have not done so yet, please subscribe. Please hit that bell to be alerted for every new video we post, and do all that crazy stuff. I'm distracting myself by seeing myself just frozen. That's kind of crazy. But let's look at this list of games that are coming out over the next. I'm still frozen even in this view. That's weird. But let's look at this. The games that are coming out over. Oh, great! Now I'm really frozen. This is awful.
What did you do?
Well, at least I'm smiling now. I have no idea why that's all crazy and everything. Now I'm like, look at this. Like I'm just frozen here, like on this. It makes no sense. No sense. Anyway. Let's look at what the games are coming up over this next week. There are several good ones coming up. As you guys see, we're scrolling this on the screen. Immortals Phoenix Rising does come out in just a couple days, so that's really exciting. And the rest of you guys can see what I've been playing over the last few days as well. For you guys that want just a small taste of Jackbox games, Quiplash 2 comes out on December 3rd as well. And then Fitness Boxing 2, I know Barry's wife's probably excited about that one, is coming out. I'd never even got a chance to try the trial of the first one. I still need to try that at some point. But Fire Emblem, Shadow Dragon, and the Blade of Light will be available on December 4th, and of course go away on March 31st. So make sure you get that when you can. And then Doom Eternal finally got a release date, digital only, which makes Barry so excited, I know. But that's coming out on... That's coming out on December 8th. Puyo Puyo Tetris comes out on December 8th as well. So several really good games coming up over the next week, and December 8th is our next podcast. So that's a lot of games coming out like on the day of our next podcast. But what are you guys excited about playing before our next podcast? Any of those new games, or still grinding away on the backlog? Greg, what do you think?
Well, definitely the Fire Emblem games. I don't know if I'll have time to play it before the next podcast, but I'll definitely have it purchased because definitely want it before it goes away. Do have plans to hopefully play the Immortal Phoenix Rising, but as I said on previous podcasts, it's on my Christmas list, so I won't be able to enjoy it till closer to Christmas Day. So it was pretty much it for me. And then continue with the way at the backlog, and also got to start playing Family Feud and some other games. So.
Nice. Oh, hey, look, I'm back. There we go. All right. I just had to replug in my camera. All right, Barry, what are you gonna be playing over the next couple week or the next week?
Next week, well, tomorrow I'll probably just mess around with a little bit of old school gamer, and Thursday in preparation, I will be playing Immortal Phoenix Rising, and that's my main thing I'm looking forward to, other than the ongoing stuff. And that is my last game that I have planned to play for 2020. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get through it, but it's definitely something that I'm excited to play. So I can't wait to do it, and hopefully it lives up to that excitement. I've seen some of the reviews, and I'm not expecting it to set the world on fire, but I'm expecting to have fun, and that's the main goal. From there, I'm not sure where I'm going.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'll be playing some more Immortals Phoenix Rising as well. Hope to eventually get some more time with Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, in addition to that. I do want to be checking out, we do get some review copies for Family Feud as well. So Greg and I will be eventually getting some time with that and do a game chat on that. We've got some other games that we're going to be doing game chats on really soon that we're going to get recorded and get those out. So you guys should definitely hit the subscribe button, hit that bell, so you know exactly when we post those game chats and reviews and gameplay videos and everything else. Greg, anything else that you're looking forward to over this next week? Anything beyond video games or anything else you want to plug, anything like that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I know this week will be probably pretty heavy getting Christmas stuff all wrapped up and hopefully start going through that and all set for Christmas Day and everything. So I don't think there's anything to necessarily plug that I'll be doing outside the ordinary, but
Cool. Barry, what are you going to be up to over this next week? Anything big?
Well, yeah, I got the next playcast will be hopefully recording this Friday or Saturday, and the game will be Old School Musical, hence why I'm mainly playing it. In addition to that, someone reached out. I did an industry talk with Kyla. We talked about her recent game that she did, and she reached out to me and said that she took my suggestion on playing Evil Land, because we had just done Evil Land, and she does a podcast called The Feedback Force with a couple other people, where they do something similar, where they play a game and they'll talk about it. And they asked me if I would like to be a guest, so graciously accepted, and that is episode 108, which is available right now on SoundCloud. It is a long episode, very long. But it was a lot of fun, and it was great to just be asked to come on to another podcast and just have some fun with that. And it was great because they actually called me a real podcaster. So I told them I had to put that on my business card. I was like, wow, I've never been told that. I've never been told that before. But thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I do want to just give some love to those guys, because they just doing what they love to do, and they love to analyze and discuss games, and I'm always down for doing that. So
cool.
That's what I've been up to.
Cool.
always return the favor and see if we can get them on here.
Yeah.
No, yeah, maybe if they're interested in doing that. I mean, I already did an industry talk with Kyla, so that's a good episode. You should watch that.
It is. You should watch that. Someone edited it pretty good too.
Yeah, great editor.
Let's see. Let's go to the chat, and it looks like that Jakester is going to be still going on the backlog until Christmas, really. Dave's going to be finishing Yakuza 7, hopefully. And looks like the rest of you guys are playing. He wants to go. Jakester wants to go back to Trials of Mana and Tokyo Mirage Sessions as well. So yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I got nothing really big except for like what I said. Like we're hopefully going to be able to get some of these game chats and gameplay videos and things like that out over the next couple weeks. So make sure you're tuning in and subscribing for that, because we've got a lot that we need to be kicking off and doing really soon. So hopefully we'll be able to get some additional content you guys' way on our YouTube channel. So make sure you're checking that out. Check out NintendoFuse.com as well. Dave is pretty much just like running the show over there with all his news articles. So if you're not checking out NintendoFuse.com on a regular basis, make sure you do that as well. Yeah, I think that brings us to the end of episode 214. We didn't go too much longer than an hour tonight because we had, 2 weeks between the last episode. But next one's going to be on December 8th, and then December 15th will be our Game of the Year awards, as we've kind of alluded to earlier. And we'll give you some more information about that on our December 8th podcast, let you know what our categories are going to be this year and things like that. So if you guys want to make your own list and submit that as well. Speaking of which, join our Discord so you can continue talking about that. We'll probably actually post that earlier in our Discord. So if you don't want to wait until our next podcast, join the Discord and you can get all that information right in there. And looking forward to talking about Game of the Year awards in a couple weeks. But we still got another podcast next week. Who knows what's going to happen between now and next week? But until then, happy gaming, everybody.
See ya.